All right. So welcome back to another Facebook Live. And today the question at hand is, does WordPress only attract cheap clients, or is right now the best time ever to be a WordPress freelancer or developer? And the reason this came up today is because I was checking out a comment on my Facebook posts, and here's a direct quote from the comment. So here's what somebody said. Been in the business 20 years, WordPress has always attracted the low-end client. When a client comes to us saying we want to use WordPress, it's code language for we have no money and we know WordPress is cheap. So so that's the quote. And then the question is that true? Is it true that that's really the case? Is it really the case that when people want WordPress, they're only in it because it's cheap? Or is there something else going on there that's going to make this person feel like WordPress clients are always cheap? So if you have any questions about this or want to talk more about it, go ahead and leave a comment below. I'll keep an eye on that throughout the week, and we can talk about it. But here's the thing. The answer to this question is yes and no at the same time. It's yes if you're in the business of providing like the technical service of implementing a WordPress website. It's no if you're in the business of using WordPress as the tools, the WordPress and the ecosystem as the tools that you use to implement really powerful business solutions for the customers you want to work with. So if you're here joining the group here, go ahead and leave a comment and let me know that you're here, and I'll wave to you. I'll even give you a high five, boop, and that will be awesome. So here's what I mean by that. What's the differentiation between those two things? Well, most people, kind of like we talked about last week, I think we were talking about like WordPress freelancing 3.0. So if you haven't seen that, check out that video. It's here in the group. It's also on the blog at doublestack.net/blog. Post the replays there. But here's the thing: if you're in the business of like submitting proposals on Upwork, or trying to just be in the if a client comes to you and they say, I want a WordPress site, can you make it do this? Then that comment is right. And some people have been stuck in that mode for a long time. And it used to be the case that it was profitable to do that sort of thing. And we talked about the 3 different approaches to WordPress freelancing that have kind of evolved over the years. And originally spinning up a WordPress site was profitable. Then that kind of stopped because people were able to sort of take it on themselves, and like ad agencies and direct marketers and things like that began to implement their own WordPress sites. And so outsourcing that kind of thing sort of dried up. Then like version 2 was when it was really profitable to just like make custom plugins and make custom themes and get into like e-commerce development. And, that began to be fairly profitable too. And, but then that dried up because, tons of e-commerce plugins got out there and tons of themes are out there, and you don't really need to develop custom stuff anymore. So like there's pretty much a really awesome plugin that does almost everything that you can think of. And so the problem is, if you're in the mode of trying to like sell the implementation of a WordPress site, or you're in the mode of trying to get clients to hire you to build plugins or something like that, then yeah, it's like people are going to have, just a couple $100 to spend. And I can totally understand why somebody would leave a comment like this about how WordPress only attracts, the cheapest clients. But here's the thing. My position is, and as bared out in having run this business for 16 years, that right now is the very best possible time ever if you want to be a WordPress freelancer. And the reason why is because there's never been a time in the history of WordPress, or really even of the web, where you have so many awesome tools at your disposal. I mean, from hosting to like the design of the themes and the plugins and the tools that you have to deploy stuff, and the fact that WordPress is so ubiquitous and that like tons of things integrate with WordPress. There's just so much stuff that you can do with regard to launching and growing a business. And here's the thing. The big shift is you don't want to be in the business of implementing or building or selling WordPress as a technical service. If that's what your business is, you're going to really be struggling. It's going to be hard for you. You're going to be selling, doing projects for $100 on Upwork, or clients are going to call you with only a few $100s to spend. But here's the thing. If you shift out of that, if you move away from just being that person that does the technical stuff, and you say, hey, you know what? I've got this huge, awesome set of things that I can use to make websites faster and more, just filled with more features, and that drive sales and calls and leads and conversions and all of the things that you can do. And you take that huge, more powerful than it's ever been toolbox of stuff and actually use that to produce websites that generate business outcomes for the clients that you want to be working with. That fundamentally and in every possible way changes the nature of WordPress freelancing. And that's exactly what I'm here to help you with, and that's what I teach at the DoubleStack program. I mean, the whole point, the entire reason I put the program together is because I go to all of these WordCamps, and now I've got 2 coming up at the end of this month, and I talk to tons of people about e-commerce through Cart66 and everything. And so I've literally talked to like hundreds of WordPress developers, and like even just over the past couple of months, I've probably spent 100 hours at least on the phone or in webinars talking to WordPress developers, and the vast majority of them come to me saying stuff like the guy left in the quote today, where it says WordPress is always attracted the low-end client. When it comes to people saying that they want to use WordPress, it's coded language for we have no money and WordPress is cheap. And so I mean, so last Thanksgiving I said enough is enough. I'm going to put together this course, and it's going to be 2 things. It's going to be a course that has the technical stuff that you need to generate business outcomes. So it's not about how to build a WordPress site. It's about what is the stuff in the WordPress world that you can be using to do stuff that really matters to your clients, right? So it's not just, it's not just them sending you a bunch of Word docs that you spin up and put on the internet. Anyone can do that. You can do it for free on Wix. If that's what you're doing, stop doing that, or at least don't expect there to be a lot of money behind that for you, because it's not there. So if you're showing up at meetings and you're saying, hey, tell me what you want your website to do, or you're showing up saying, where the client says, hey, can you, just put these documents on the web, give me a contact form or whatever, then you're going to have to stop doing that, because what you need to do is you need to take all the tools and all the stuff that's out there that your clients don't even know about, right? And a lot of people don't even know what's out there. So how are they supposed to tell you what they want when they don't even know what's there? So rather than being in that mode, get into the mode where you have the tech skills that generate business outcomes, right? So you've got, e-commerce skills. You've got, if somebody wants to do an online course or a membership or a subscription, or maybe it's a subscription to content on a website. Maybe it's not a course, but it's premium content on a site. Maybe it's a subscription to something other than content. Like maybe it's like a face-to-face sort of thing. Like somebody wants to, lawn care services. People can subscribe to that. Whatever it might be, make sure that you have the tech stack down to be able to do that stuff. And then the business stack of the DoubleStack program is, okay, now that you know how to do this stuff, how do you actually engage with your clients in a way so that you can articulate the value of the things that you just learned how to do in the tech stack? And the fundamental transformational shift behind all of it is you're not building websites for people anymore. You are in fact implementing a website as part of an overall package, but you're not selling the website. What you're doing is you're selling the outcome of having the website. And so that's what I'm here to help you do. And so the really frustrating thing for me is a lot of people come up to me and they say, I can't seem to make more than $500 or $1,000 off of a website, or I can't seem to find clients that are willing to spend money on a website, or I used to be able to sell websites for $1,500, $3,000, $5,000, and I'm still doing the same stuff that I used to be doing, but now I can't seem to do it anymore. And the reason is you're not realizing that the WordPress economy keeps shifting over time, and the things that used to work no longer work now. So when it used to be the case that you could do, like build a WordPress site for a high value price, it's too easy to do that now. Anyone can do it. WordPress has gotten better. Developers that know how to do that stuff have gotten cheaper. Other alternatives are out there like Wix and Squarespace and whatever. And so if you're in the market of saying, hey, I noticed that your website doesn't look that great, let me build you a better website, everyone's going to say no. Or if you're in the business of saying, hey, do you even want a website? Some people are going to say, I don't even want a website. Facebook is my website. Or I just use Twitter as my website. I don't really need a website. And if that's the mentality, and what you're trying to do is just sell that technical service of building the website, it's going to be increasingly difficult for you to do anything about that. But if you shift the mentality, so if somebody says to you, Facebook is their website, rather than saying, oh, well, they don't need my services, that should be encouragement to you to say, hey, let me tell you why Facebook isn't actually as good as a website, right? And then you begin to list the things that you can do that generate the kinds of outcomes that they want. Now, I don't know if you guys know this or not. You probably do. You might be on Facebook a lot. But if you have if a business has a Facebook page and they have followers to the page, and somebody posts something to the page, then that post only shows up in about 5% or so or less of the followers' news feeds. And if it's a business page, the scenario is even worse. It's like 2%. And so what that means is if you've got like 100 people following your page and you announce something on your Facebook page, it's only going to show up to between like 2-3 people's news feeds. Now, if people go to the Facebook page, then of course, they'll see the post. But as far as what's in the news feed, it's not showing up. So how are you supposed to announce things to your followers if you can only reach about 2, 3, 4% of the people? Well, the answer is you boost a post. But what if you don't want to boost a post? What if you want something better than that? And this is why if somebody says their Facebook page is their website, then that should be like, okay, go ahead, let's talk about this. You're an ideal client now. Let me educate you on how this works, and let me tell you some of the outcomes that you would be able to experience that are better than that. And of course, that's the thing. Those outcomes are going to be generating these beneficial business results for the people that you're working with. And that's why right now is the best time that there has ever been, bar none, for being a WordPress developer. Because if you know how to do this stuff, then you've got an advantage on like every other possible way to build a website. You have an advantage over the large agencies. Like, for example, when we were talking last week about the agencies, right? So it used to be the case, like I used to work for agencies. Like I have these like 3 iterations in my own career, which really reflect the overall spectrum of how WordPress freelancing has changed over the last 10 years. And I used to work as like the outsourced tech team of an agency. And then it got to be the case that people didn't need to outsource the implementation of like a brochure site. They internalized it, and they just hired their graphic designers or whatever, trained their graphic designers how to build WordPress sites. So they didn't outsource that to me anymore. So I got in the business of e-commerce and plugin development and custom themes and custom coding. And then it got to be the case that so many people were doing that, there was no need for custom coding. The coding situation was pretty much solved. Like all the problems, all the major problems that needed to be addressed with e-commerce and email marketing and contact forms and all the things, the SEO stuff, whatever, all of those things have been coded already, so that people stopped outsourcing that. And it was tempting to think, oh, my job has been like cannibalized by the advancement of technology, or there's no job opportunities out there because agencies don't need me anymore, right? So it's tempting to think that, but the reality is the opposite. Why hire the ad agency for $35,000 when they could hire you for $15,000 and generate the outcomes that you can generate are basically the same? So instead of the ad agencies not needing you anymore, now's the situation is you don't need the ad agencies anymore. And so you have the ability to deliver a much higher value offer than these ad agencies because you don't have the overhead, right? You don't have the expensive office space and the 15 people in business to pay payroll for and all of that stuff. You don't have all that overhead, but you're missing one thing. You don't have the marketing. That's the problem. Like there's the tech skills and then there's the marketing. And if you don't have both of those two things, it's going to be a huge problem. And so that's why I'm here. That's why I'm talking to you guys about this stuff. I'm really excited about it. And just a couple days ago, I totally refreshed the business development stack of the DoubleStack program. And like one of the things I'm the most excited about is the proposal. I've got my proposal template out there, and each individual section is outlined with what content you put in each section, how you go through the whole flow of it. So you have this really big crescendo, and you really hit on the points that matter, leave out the stuff that doesn't. And this is what I've been using. Like that's what, like the $7,700 website I closed last Tuesday, 2 Tuesdays ago, we talked about it 2 Tuesdays ago. This is the proposal that I use for that. This is how you do it. And I can walk you through it step by step so you can achieve these same outcomes too. So now it's not by any means any sort of a get-rich-quick situation at all. I mean, you take some work. You have to learn how to do this stuff. But what I'm telling you is that there is a business structure that you can scale to $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 a year. And most of the people I talk to are making about $30,000 a year. So it does not seem out of the realm of expectations to think that you could double your income over the course of a couple of weeks if you if you just change the way that you market yourself and the way that you talk about the skills that you can offer. And that's what the whole program is about, because there's so few people tapping into this new, what I call WordPress freelancing 3.0, this new era of WordPress freelancing, The opportunity is gigantic. There's so many tools, so many themes, so many everything, the hosting, deployment, security. I mean, there's companies out there that take care of all the problems with backups and, you know, all the things that used to be a headache. You know, there's people out there that have solved these problems, which enables you to be able to provide awesome outcomes at a much lower price than a full-blown agency, but that's still an amazing rate for you. So like literally, I was talking to someone on the phone just a couple days ago. I got a call from an agency. It's probably about a year ago now. And they were looking at the Card66 website and they wanted to redesign this. I didn't know who I was or anything. And so I was like, so I entertained the call. I was like, okay, so what's the deal? What are they going to offer? And how is this going to be different or whatever from what I'm doing for myself? And so I entertained the whole call. You know, they called me. I didn't call them. I figured it was, you know, appropriate to just let them say their thing. And we get to the end. They were going to charge $35,000 to redesign a website that was already working just fine. And so I was like, okay, 35,000. And so I was like, so I acted shocked because I was. And so they said I could get on payment plans and I could pay like $6,000 a month for however long or whatever. And, you know, whatever. But the point is $35,000 is an enormous price to rebuild a website that was only just a few pages, right? It's like 6 pages or 7 pages or something. A lot of blog posts, a lot of, for sure. But, you know, the format, the structure, it's just content that's out there. And anyway, all that is to say, I was just blown away by that. And so what if you did half, right? Or what if you did $10,000? Like almost everyone I talk to sells websites for like $1,000. So what if you could bump that up to 5? Like that's the kind of the pattern that I shoot for in the DoubleStack program, is to show you how to sell a $5,000 website and a retainer for roughly $1,000 a month, $850 a month, something like that. And over the course of a year, that's like a $15,000 contract off one client. So how do you do that? What do you need to do to structure your business in a way that you can scale your business like that? So if those are some questions that you're wondering and you're like, well, all I've got in my toolbox is the ability to spin up a website and maybe offer some WordPress maintenance and plugin updates, and that's all I can think of for, you know, getting some recurring revenue in the door. Well, let's talk about that. Let me show you some other stuff. Let me show you some other ideas that you could go over and construct these business packages that you can offer to your clients. And it depends on who the clients that you're working with are as to what services you offer. So for example, you know, if, you know, people that run restaurants, they want more customers to come in, or they want more value out of the customers that do come in, or somebody that is a coach, you know, they oftentimes want phone calls, or they want people to enroll in a course, you know, whatever it is. Somebody, I was talking to somebody who sells swimming pools, and like they want people to come in and look at the pools. So, you know, depending on what the outcomes are that people want for their websites, there's a suite of things that you could be doing to continually improving and generating those outcomes. And that's where the value is. The value is not in putting the website on the internet and keeping it, you know, bug-free or hack-free or, you know, plug-in updates or whatever. That's not the value. Do that, you know, keep doing it. Don't stop doing that because you can do it. Your client needs it. It's something that needs to be done, but that's not the value. The value is in actually generating the stuff that your clients want. And so if you find yourself tempted to say stuff like the fellow did here on this comment about how WordPress always attracts the lowest end clients and nobody has any money and anybody who says they want WordPress is cheap, you know, all of those types of things, it's because of basically they're looking for someone to implement the ideas they have in their head. They feel like WordPress is a quick and fast way to do it, and they're not really looking for the kinds of services that are the high value services, right? They're not. So in order to shift into the high value services, you need to start leading your clients. You need to start showing them that you're an established authority, you know what to do to achieve these outcomes, and then you can actually pull it off. And so if that's the kind of stuff that you want to talk about, call me up. I've got my schedule available at doublestack.net/call. My personal schedule there, so you and me, we can talk one-on-one about this, talk about your, you know, the exact market that you're targeting, the clients that you're going after, the types of websites you want to build, you know, what rates you want to charge, what your income goals are, how you can start hitting those goals right away. You know, all of those types of things are stuff that we can start talking about. And, you know, and if you want my help implementing those things, we can talk about that too. Even if you don't, though, it's going to be a really valuable call because you're going to be able to, you know, shift your mindset away from thinking that everybody who wants a WordPress site is in it for cheap and into thinking, wow, look at all the stuff that I can offer my clients that, you know, that they wouldn't otherwise be able to access. And that's a very high value thing. It's what I do for myself. It's what we, you know, what I talked to you about, you know, a couple of days ago, you know, 2 Tuesdays ago, whatever. That's the kind of stuff where the high value is. And so to you know, finally kind of conclude this, the answer to the question is, Sometimes it is the case that WordPress stuff attracts cheap clients, but those aren't the same clients as the ones that you could be scoring massive sales with if you shift the way that you market your business. So if you're in the business of providing kinds of services over on Upwork, that's cheap. If you're in the business of leading clients into the business results that they're looking for, that's high value. And there's never been a time throughout all of the history of WordPress or the internet in general where so many tools are available to you to be able to achieve amazing outcomes that most clients aren't actually able to achieve on their own. And this is going to be the thing that differentiates you from all the cheap folks on Upwork. It's going to be the thing that differentiates you from clients saying that they're going to do the site themselves, you know, and it's going to differentiate you from basically because very few people are thinking about WordPress freelancing like this. The vast majority of people are thinking of it as just a technical skill or service that they can offer, and it's low value, it's low rates, it'll burn you out. So if you're feeling burnt out, if you're feeling stuck or frustrated, and you want to learn how to jump into this new arena where there's high value clients that are longing for help. You know, there's people out there that they don't know what to do. They've got awesome services. You know, I work with a lot of doctors, and these people are the kinds of folks that are they can fundamentally change your whole life with nutrition and with gut issues or autoimmune disease or that kind of stuff. And they wouldn't be able to reach out to the clients and attract the clients they're looking for if it wasn't for people like us that can use the tools that the WordPress community has put together to reach people in a more powerful way than ever before. It's more cost effective, it's faster, it's just an amazing environment for people like us to be able to use our WordPress freelancing skills to grow other people's businesses. And it has nothing to do with custom coding or custom plugin development or any of that other stuff, which doesn't really need to be done anymore. And so if that's the kind of stuff that you're looking to do, if you want to start getting into that kind of business where you're leading your clients, you're establishing yourself as a leader, and you're really just crushing it, then let's talk about it. Let's give me a call at doublestack.net/call. You'll find my schedule, pick a time. You'll see a little form with a couple questions at the end with a link to your website, and you just tell me a little bit about you so that when we get on the call, then we can just fill it with value, and we'll talk about your clients and your market and your rates and the kind of work you really like to do the most, what you really feel like you're gifted at, that kind of stuff. And we'll find out a way to get you into doing the same kind of stuff that I've been doing and that I talk about at these WordCamps and stuff. So go ahead and schedule that call, and I really look forward to talking to you. And in the meantime, if you have other questions, or if you have questions about this video or anything like that, or you want me to talk about some other kind of a topic, you have some other content ideas that you want me to address, just put that in a comment below. I'll keep an eye on that throughout the week, and we'll keep things going. So okay, guys, here's a high five for you. Boop. And until we talk again, so we'll be back together again on Thursday. And if we don't talk on the phone before then, I'll see you Thursday. And again, if you have questions, leave them here, and we'll get that answered. And hey, there's Steve. He says something. On a phone someday soon. Okay, great. Steve, awesome, Steve. I look forward to talking to you too. And yeah, don't hesitate to call. It's one of the things that's been that kind of makes me feel kind of frustrated and stuff. Is there's people out there that are just grinding their gears and feeling really frustrated. They can't get the clients, or their client. They send out proposals, and the proposals sit out on the internet, never to be said yes or no. They just kind of zoom out into the internet, never to be seen again. Or clients are turning them down, and so they lower their rates to try to get more clients, and then they end up accepting a client for way less than they feel like they're worth. And then they do all of this work, and you just don't have to do it like that anymore. You don't have to do it like that. So if you find yourself just grinding your gears over these things, then let's talk about it and get you into a position where you don't have to do that, and you just shift your mindset. There's a huge mindset component. And let me say one last thing. I'll talk more about this later. But the thing that really sets us apart from all the other WordPress training courses and stuff that's out there is it's not just online videos. It's if you and I decide that we want to work together, then what happens is you and me, we get together on calls like this. We get together on these coaching calls where we share screens, and if you've got a proposal that you're working on, it's not on you to figure out how to get the lessons to add to match up to the proposal you want to write. And the lessons will set the framework for it, but let's talk about it. Like, send me the proposal. We'll look at it together and make sure that you're, putting, what kind of business packages can you put in your proposals, and what kind of results can you generate for your client, and how can you structure the whole thing to alleviate objections and to make your client feel comfortable and understand that you're an authority. We'll work on it together. And so it's like 8 weeks. It's like for 2 months, you and me will be working together, finding the right clients for you, working on your proposals, updating your website, making sure that you have the tech skills that actually generate these kinds of outcomes for your clients. These are all things that we'll work on together, so you don't get stuck. There's mindset training. So like if you've been like, the worst situation is like if you used to sell these, $5,000, $3,500 websites and you can't anymore, and so you've been lowering your rates, and then you kind of accept these projects for less than you know that you're worth, then it beats up on your mindset, and you begin to like, am I really good? I mean, can I really do this? And what's going on? And so we'll work on that part too, so that you actually show up at these meetings with confidence, you understand the value. And like the reason I'm so excited is I see the value that's sitting out there that people aren't tapping into. And so let's get you seeing that same value, so that when you show up at these meetings, that you're leading your clients into the success that they need to be having in order to reach the customers that they can be helping, right? So everyone wins when you shift into this mindset and when you shift into this new model, this new structure of your WordPress business. So yeah, so just my big encouragement is like, if you struggle with this stuff and you love working with WordPress like I do, like I've been doing it forever, right? And so, it's just so much fun. The community is there, doing awesome stuff. And one of the things that I can do to help is kind of bring you into this new world where you can actually start helping your clients in a deeper way than ever before. And that really changes things. So yeah, and the big thing is it's like mentoring or coaching or whatever you want to call it. It's like you and me, we're working together, we're sharing screens, you're not getting stuck, there's accountability, there's support. And hey, if you want to cover something that's not specifically in a video, I'll make another one for you. Whatever it is that you need to learn how to do to reach the kind of people you want to work with, that's what we'll spend the next 2 months working on. So that's what the program is. But even if you're not interested in the program, we can still talk one-on-one about what you're trying to do, what kind of goals you're trying to hit, and how you can get there. So absolutely, if you're thinking about scheduling a call, definitely do it, and let me help in whatever way I can. So awesome. So I'm glad you left that message there, Steve, because that reminded me to mention a little bit more about the program. I'll do another talk, kind of more in depth, more specific about what the program is, if people are interested in that sort of a thing. But the main thing is, I just wanted to underscore the fact that you don't have to give up on WordPress as a business, because even when there's tons of people out there that are saying WordPress only attracts cheap clients, the truth is it does not. I mean, it's like, yes, there is a way that you could be attracting cheap clients through WordPress, but you don't have to be doing it that way. You can change the way that you structure your business, change the types of packages and things that you offer to your clients, and that fundamentally changes the entire nature of your business. And so instead of being a WordPress implementer, you're now like an online business development expert, and you just use the tools in the WordPress ecosystem to achieve those goals. See, it's kind of like you're flip-flopping things on its head. You're not, WordPress isn't at the top anymore, where like that's not the focus. The focus is, using WordPress to support all the awesome stuff that you can be doing for your clients. And so you need to be focusing on those big benefits, and that's where we can work together. That's where we can figure out what are those packages? What clients are you working with? And how do we make sure that you have the skills, that you have the business packages, and you have the structure for your business to be able to deliver that kind of results, not just for you, but for your clients too. So there we go. A little bit of an extra, this is kind of a longer video than normal. So extra high five, boop. And I hope to be talking to you guys soon. And so definitely head over to doublestack.net/call, and we'll talk about this stuff. And then if not, then I'll also see you again on Thursday for another call. So thanks for joining in. Thanks for leaving a couple of comments. And I'll be talking to you guys again soon. Thanks so much, guys.